Hey guys, welcome to another episode of our Andor review. This week we watched episode 4. Guys, last week I said I wasn't that big on episodes 1, 2, and 3, but I think it just had to take time to grow on me because episode 4 I really enjoyed. My first impressions were it started to pick up steam. We got a lot of things coming in. And I'm with Daniel from last week where it didn't feel like a Star Wars show. It felt more like he was watching Blade Runner. And this week it felt like a Star Wars show. That was my first impression of it. I felt like it was a great episode, and we really kind of have got where we're going. I feel like this is 12 episodes. So we're going to get books of 3 where each 3 episodes is like a chapter of the story. And the first 3 was the prologue, and this is the start of chapter 1. Daniel, what did you think? What were your first impressions?
Yeah, I think my first impressions is now we see where the series is going. The first part of it, and like I said last week, was because I feel like the characters in Rogue One were undercooked a little bit. So they really spent some time to really get you acclimated with Cassian Andor's character. And I think it was a very good thing to do, and it showed kind of a wide thing of the universe. But this is now we're starting to see where the series is heading. We're starting to see where the Rebel Alliance is at this point. We're seeing where Cassian Andor, where he's going into with this, and where he relates to the Rebel Alliance and everything. And we're actually seeing a lot of the political drama that's around the galaxy at this time too, which is really cool in my opinion. But yes, the Empire is here, and they've definitely made a mark, and you definitely starting to feel like Star Wars, like Josh said. What was your first impressions, Chris?
Again, I've really enjoyed this series. So again, another really good episode for me as well. Josh, be honest, was it because they showed one stormtrooper and 2 TIE fighters that it felt more like Star Wars to you?
No, it had more of the intrigue.
Or was it that giant Empire symbol we saw outside the building as they were coming up? Yeah, they definitely did this really, really good job of presenting the Empire. And I felt like you could feel the shadow of Grand Moff Tarkin over the Empire in this episode, as they are so confident in themselves. When the character, I believe her name was Deidre, was telling them about all the little rebel things that were popping up, they were like, it's insignificant little skirmishes that mean no harm to the Empire. And that seems to be the overwhelming theme for the Empire across Star Wars. They never held any respect for the Rebel Alliance or the Resistance, and they wound up being defeated because of their haughtiness. So my first impression is just another great episode. I love seeing this whole setup that's going on right now with Cassian and the crew that are coming in to do this job. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with that distraction that they were talking about with the stars and everything. I think it's going to make for some really cool cinematography. But also, let's talk about the split personality of Luthen Rao. What did you guys think of that when he, put on this whole different persona to become a Coruscant socialite? I thought that was pretty interesting too. And to see that he was a collector of antiquities, and we'll talk some more as this video goes on about all the Easter eggs that were in his shop. But let me go ahead and just say this. Who is getting all those antiquities from him, for him? Can we please get Dr. Shelley Afra in a live action series? We already have Chrysanthemum. We know he's there. So why not getting Shelley Afra? As far as my favorite scene was concerned, I think that my favorite scene was probably the introduction when we see the car comes in and we see Mon Mothma for the very first time. Genevieve O'Reilly is amazing as Mon Mothma. She has a presence about her when she walks on screen, and just to see her interact with Luthen and how they were, basically working inside of the Senate for the rebellion, I think that was just a really great scene. And if you kept your eyes open, there was a lot of Easter eggs in there too, including in the workshop. If you look on the shelf behind Luthen's head, there's actually a Sith and Jedi holocron behind his head as well, if you keep your eyes open. Daniel, what was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene has to be anything involving Mon Mothma and the politics of the galaxy. I think just it's really great to see her go from having all her scenes cut out of Revenge of the Sith to now being a major part of Star Wars. It's really nice to see, and she's a wonderful actress. She's really conveying like how frustrated she is with how the Empire is handling the politics of the galaxy now, and how they're really stomping their foot down on people. And you just get this really great scene with her and her husband. I'm guessing that's her husband. I'm pretty sure, but
Yeah, it was.
where he's like, I don't really want to get involved in the politics. I just want to have fun. And she's like, well, I just don't want to have fun with people that basically destroyed a planet's ecosystem, basically. And she's like, you can have your party, but I'm not dealing with this. And that to me is just great. And it shows where she's going to be a big part of the rebellion, basically. And I think it's just such a great setup for things coming later as far as Rebels. How about you, Josh?
And Chris, I think that's where it got me back feeling like Star Wars again, because Star Wars has always been about the politics between the Empire and the Rebels. And the first couple of episodes felt more like an episode where he was running away as a fugitive and the politics weren't there. And they showed up in this episode. As far as a favorite scene, Chris, I got to say that scene where she goes into the shop with him and you look around at all the stuff he has in that museum. At one point there is a looks like, tantamount to a armor from the medieval times, but it is actually the Dark Lord Starkiller armor that they wore in the alternate ending of the Force Unleashed game. So
yes, it was.
That was pretty cool. And then there's other Lucasfilm callbacks, because there's a thing of frozen carbonite up on the shelf, and it's Indiana Jones's whip.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely. And if you listen real close, the weapon that he handed her to at first was Utapau, and if you're up on your Star Wars, Utapau was where General Grievous was hiding when General Obi-Wan Kenobi went and dusted him in Revenge of the Sith. So, so there was so many Easter eggs there. Not only there, but a lot of mentions of a lot of different planets and things as well. I don't know if you caught all the references or not, but there were quite a few.
It was about 15 or 20 different planets, and I didn't have time to catch them all, but I was reading up on them, and there were just too many to list. But beside the whip, there were two small stones that looked like the Shankara stones from Temple of Doom.
Yeah, exactly. They know. Lucasfilm knows how to stick those in there where they're supposed to be.
There was also an item on the shelf which Grand Admiral Thrawn used this to track down Harrison Dula and Rebels. It's a thing where you can show a family's legacy throughout, and like he used that to track Harrison Dula and basically go after her family and Rebels, and it was pretty awesome to see that too.
And we don't need to forget in Rebels, we had the bringing in of time travel in Rebels to the Star Wars galaxy. There was something in the shop, and I don't remember quite what it was, but it was an artifact that would take you to the world between worlds, which allowed for time travel in Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly.
So are they bringing that into live action too?
Why not?
I mean, those cartoons are canon, so I mean, the world between worlds, the way they explain the world between worlds is very vague, and it's not quite time travel. And what happens, but it's a way that you can still go through and change small things, but it's not quite time travel.
Is it kind of like the DC's Phantom Zone?
It's Deus Ex Machina is what it is.
Yeah. or maybe Marvel's Quantum Zone.
Yeah.
So Josh, what was your overall on this episode?
Overall, I thought it was a great episode. It was great to see Coruscant again. A different look at that. I hope we get to see the seedy underbelly of Coruscant a little more in this show, because that's where we're at with Cassian Andor in this story. I heard Saw Gerrera mentioned in the show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to get him.
And then another interesting thing when they're talking to Cassie and Andor about where he served, they mentioned the planet Mimbon, which was a mud bog planet. And if you know anything about Solo, that's where Han was serving during the Solo film. So it's possible that Cassian and Han crossed paths during that time. So,
yes, it's absolutely possible.
So overall, I thought it was a great episode. I'm intrigued to see where we go next. I think we're finally seeing the birth of the rebellion in full swing right now. And I think there's going to be some fireworks in the coming episode when Mon Mothma has that party at her house between her and those other senators that are coming in. Daniel, what was your overall thoughts?
Overall, I'm really enjoying this. It still has that adult feel that's not so suffocatingly dark that it's not want to push your children away, but it still feels like something that you don't feel like kind of embarrassed, or I don't want to say embarrassed. Embarrassed is a bad word, but it's not. It doesn't feel like a cartoon. It doesn't feel like it was made specifically for a child. It feels like it was made for a broad audience, but it definitely feels like as an adult you can go, man, this is Star Wars and this is cool again. I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the politics of it a lot. Politics in Star Wars is not a lot of fans' favorite thing, but I'm really enjoying the politics of it all. I'm a little bit of a political junkie. Don't follow me on Twitter if you don't want to hear about politics. But yeah, so I really enjoyed that aspect of Star Wars, and it's really nice to see it. It's really cool to see these snooty old British men in imperial suits. I love that, and just how much their hubris is so big that you can tell that it's going to be awesome when they come down. But yeah, I really am enjoying this a lot. It's nice to see Cassian starting to come into his own as a rebel, really. So I'm really enjoying this. Can't wait to see what's going on. I can't wait for the heist. I love heist stuff too. So it's going to be awesome to see a heist, the heist part of Star Wars. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, just love the overall this episode. It's just so good, and there's so much attention to detail if you watch it. One of the things that they did, and they did it in Rogue One, and they've done it here, is if you'll notice, like the officers in the Empire and the way people have their mustaches and their hair, they are geared toward exactly what they would look like in 1977 when Star Wars happens. We're looking at 5 years before Star Wars. So they're keeping that same feel. You feel like you're watching a Star Wars film. It's grittier. And we're seeing, we spent 40 years watching what Luke, Leia, and Han did in the rebellion. Now we're seeing what else was going on in the rebellion behind the scenes that we didn't get to see, because we followed those same three characters for 6 movies, 3 movies. We had different characters, but still, we didn't see all of the background stuff that we're starting to see now. And it's really cool to be able to see that. So yeah, so overall, just a great show. I enjoyed it. Like you, Daniel, I'm excited to see the heist things. I feel like that's going to go not as well as they think it's going to go. One of my favorite Mandalorian episodes was the episode where they were taking over the cart things, those sleds on that one planet, and it was more of a heist type thing. And I really love that episode of Mandalorian. So just to be able to see, something like this and see the first reach. I feel like maybe the first reach by the rebellion into the empire to kind of start picking their pockets so they can start building this war against and this rebellion. So yeah, so I'm super excited for next week. I think this week was great. I think it was a good. One of the things that kind of drives me crazy is at the end of the episode, it just kind of ends. I don't know if you guys have noticed that or not, but it's like a total just boom, we're done. And also, we can't get off of here without mentioning the fact that one of the items in Lucen's shop was actually Plo Koon's face mask.
Yes.
From the earlier episode. So I kind of wanted to slip that in there. But that's all we've got for episode 4 this time, guys. We're excited for episode 5. We hope you enjoy our review here. If you do, hit that like and subscribe. Help us we're almost to 200 subscribers. We're trying to get there. So tell your friends about us. Get them up here watching us. Watch these videos. We'd love to be monetized one day, but we got to have a lot of viewing hours and a lot of subscribers to get there. And also check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and TikTok. So any one of those 5 or all of those 5, give us a follow. And in the coming weeks, we got quite a few things going on. On 15th and 16th, we have the Fayetteville Comic-Con down in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I believe it starts at 10 and runs to 6 on Saturday, and I think 10 to 5 on Sunday. We're going to be there. We've got media passes. Josh and I will be there wandering around. Come see us. Might have some free comics. We might have a free hat or 2 in our bag to give away. And come see us. Come tell us you're subscribed. Show us you're subscribed, and we'll definitely give you some free stuff. And just join us at the con and go check that con out, because they're going to have some really great people there. I know Brett Breeding's going to be there. He's one of the people who worked on the Deaths of Superman. So if you've got the Deaths of Superman comic, you might want to get that in there, get it signed. And I just heard today that Jim Shooter will be there. He is actually the writer of Secret Wars. So if you've got any Secret Wars comics, you might want to get those in there and get them signed. If you've got that black suit cover, you might want to get that one signed as well. Also on October the 22nd, we have the Halloween Pop Swap at Lion's Eye Game in Jacksonville, North Carolina. That's going to be from 10 to 5. Josh and I will be there as well. We're going to be set up with the table. We got some pop figures to sell. We got some comic books to sell. We're going to have some merch to sell. So if you guys want to come on out and see us, let's talk about She-Hulk. Let's talk about Andor. Let's talk about comic books. Let's talk about pop figures, because apparently there will probably be more pop figures there than you've ever seen in your life. But I can't imagine. But that's one thing we don't need is more pop figures. But when knowing us, we'll probably leave with more pop figures than we take.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Until we go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, probably so. I'm still looking for Dr. Doom. If I can find him, I got to add him to my collection.
Don't forget, you got cornhole there as well.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, they're going to have a cornhole tournament that day. Come show your hand at cornhole. Me and Josh might even enter and try to take some people out. I'm fairly decent with the cornhole bag.
It won't be pretty.
Then only one of us has to be good.
I don't have any grace, so I would be terrible at cornhole, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. We still might do so. Maybe Daniel can get lucky enough to join us. We'll see when he gets here, as it gets closer, when he figures his work schedule out. So should be a fun time. We're looking forward to that. And that's all we got for this video. So again, if you like what you saw, hit that like button, but definitely subscribe, because we got a lot more videos. Go back and watch some of them. Catch up on all of our Andor videos. And until the next video, we will see you at the shop.